Ghost Town to come.
But they'll learn their lesson. But I want to personally congratulate CNN's Caitlin Collins on receiving her award. It was all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake, but I didn't mind. I said, Caitlin, congratulations. But it was fake. There's no question about it. But she's a young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, Caitlin, do you ever smile? Smile. You have a nice position. You're at CNN Fake News. You should be a happy person. So smile, Caitlin. Just smile. But we attack, and I thought Caitlin had really made it big with a major new sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can. It was Dylan Mulvaney. And Dylan Mulvaney cost Bud Light $35 billion in market cap. That was the worst commercial ever made, by the way, for those few people that want to hear that. Most people don't care, but I would. I wouldn't want to hire Dylan anytime soon. Think of it, they hired Dylan Mulvaney, and their market cap has gone down by $35 billion. Who wrote that commercial?
Wow.
Yeah, it was a bad commercial.
Wow. Great moments. You know, did you see Wolf Blitzer kept looking at her to see what her reaction would be? Like, what's it to Wolf Blitzer, bro? You know what I mean? Like, this guy has, given up his reputation years ago, but
I think that was Jeff Bezos behind him. That was her. That was kind of.
Oh my God!
Side. Wasn't that the bald dude back there? Or,
I couldn't tell by that, but I wish I would have seen her stone sphinx-like Mulvaney face.
Oh yeah. Well, I will say that she actually technically was smiling when she was on Stephen Colbert. So when she goes into the lair, then she
or when there's a Democratic president and they're skewering Republican officials, then it's a laugh fest.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a rough room for a comic to work. Yeah. I mean, that is a rough room because the jokes were really good, except the audience is not going to laugh. So, I would, if I was them, I would have added a laugh track.
That's true.
Yeah, I would have added a laugh track.
I see things like that though, and it just makes me miss Norm Macdonald even more. Because he would just jab at it. No, he would be like, there's no laugh. Yeah. And so he would go into it and just start really cutting at him until some people would just be breaking up because they couldn't help it.
When Jay Leno was a kid, he took a live in Las Vegas Don Rickles album and put the needle onto the record where the laugh track was. After he said into his tape recorder at home at 13 a joke, he then taped the laugh track from a Don Rickles album in Vegas, which I always thought was brilliant.
Nice.
It was just for his own consumption.
But it's the rhythm and teaching that and getting an approximation. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people don't know, but Jay Leno was considered like one of the best comedians out there before he was guest starring.
No. Absolutely correct. Absolutely
top notch.
He was the top dog. He was a top dog.
Yeah, and it almost worked out well for him because it was like underground. He was a top dog, but then he could go prime time and mainstream. People didn't realize that he worked blue.
Yeah,
absolutely. A lot of people didn't realize that because he was able to turn it off and do the Tonight Show. But he was blue comedian too.
Well, in reality, the top comics did not want to do television because they didn't want to give up their act for free. Rickles would never let them film his Vegas act because he didn't want to give it up for free. That was the old thing about being on TV too much because you're giving away for free an act that people are paying to see.
That's true. Carlin was one of the first ones who would just scrub his act, right? And then rewrite it every year or two and say, screw it. Okay, well, that one's burnt now. And then he'd give it.
But you burn it faster if you're doing television. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. But Amazing. Well, you know what, we've got another follow-up story that tails into the woke environment, and we'll go with this one here. Cracker Barrel CEO gone as of yesterday.
Well, it's about time, Cracker Woman. I mean, where do they get these people? I mean, do they literally start as secretaries and then become vice presidents, then CEO? Like, what is her background that she thought she could change, again, the iconic logo like the Mulvaney thing?
I do not know. What was interesting is she bought herself some time because she went out and did interviews just saying, I screwed up. Okay. I was just trying to modernize and streamline and
Right.
And the guy she had with her was kind of like an COO type, like an operations guy who had been there for a long time.
Right.
So he was sort of propping her up, I think. But ultimately, I don't know. The whole thing, I think, is it's in trouble. And even if it isn't 100% her fault, it doesn't matter.
No, I know.
Screwed up,
It's a
and
faltering brand anyway.
Get ahead, and then you can move on forward.
Yeah, but I mean, her salary must have been at least $5 million a year.
Oh, I don't know. They're ridiculous amounts of money. So yeah, I would not be surprised.
I would just shut up and take the money and go, yes, Bob, that's interesting. Let's have a meeting about that. I would never, ever try to rock the boat.
Oh, I know. And what she did, $700 million transformation across the restaurants were the plans.
This is a meddling dame who couldn't leave well enough alone. Yeah. I mean, I would just do nothing and just be this quiet CEO who says this is a great company with a great history, not going to change a thing.
Yeah, well, they have problems doing that, and being in the military, I think I've seen examples of that, because in the Army, every time we have a new commander that came in, they would always just do something different,
right? For the sake of doing it, right?
Well, it was just a matter of saying, "Oh, I have to leave my mark. I have to prove that I started a program, did something." So, previous commander would have this policy. The new commander would come in and deliberately rewrite it, and they do something else just so they could say they did it to get a promotion later. And I sometimes wonder if these CEOs are like, well, I got to tell the stockholders I did something other than, be the Maytag repairman, even though the Maytag repairman might be a better fit.
Yeah, so, I agree.
I don't know. But bye-bye. She's gone. Nobody really noticed she was really there. Speaking of being in different places where they do or they don't belong, I'm not sure. This actually surprised me, because would you ever associate Ken Burns and Alex Jones?
Yeah, because of what I just saw this week. It's shocking to me, but just so you know, he's kind of like he's the original Alex Gibney. Ken Burns. He's the deep state documentarian. But Mark, I love the Civil War series. Of course you did, schmuck. They don't make non-quality products, the deep state. And he is their guy, so he has to give up a lucrative speaking gig, from what I gather in that article, Eric.
Yes.
To go to Bohemian Grove.
Which, I just have to point that out, because very famously, Alex Jones went to Bohemian Grove undercover with John Ronson back like 2001 or 2, somewhere back in that time frame. And John Ronson, if you've been following things for a while, I'm sorry, John Ronson just reeks of deep state. Something about the guy.
I don't know,
like,
but
how do you show up?
He wasn't
everywhere?
getting an award, Alex Jones. I mean, this guy's going, and it must have been sudden, because he gave up this writers conference seminar, whatever he had going on, for a lot of money, and left them in the lurch in Sun Valley or wherever the conference was.
Yeah, the Sun Valley conference in Idaho. And
in Idaho,
$20,000 prize.
Right.
And the past award winners include Salman Rushdie, Margaret Atwood, Abraham Brugge. So, I mean, real names. So he was like,
it's not like he had an off weekend or something planned to go there. They summoned him. Yeah. That's why nobody gives up that gig for no reason. They said, we want you here. And the powers that be simply are greater. It's kind of like when Rickles got a call from Sinatra to do the Ronald Reagan second inauguration. He was on vacation in Hawaii, and Sinatra said, get your ass on a plane. And he dropped everything because of Sinatra. I think there's a lot of Sinatras at the Bohemian Grove in terms of power over someone like Ken Burns. By the way, Ken Burns is not even his real name. You know, people, this guy is a dark, weird character. His real name is Kenneth Lauren, by the way, which most people don't know. He goes under a pseudonym. His brother is a Burns. I don't know if he's a Lauren as well, but this is a name that has been altered by him. So, and he's from Brooklyn, by the way. That's why I'm mentioning that.
Well, it's interesting. I know he lost his mother when he was really young, and there's a weird past, and he kind of
could be his stepfather's name. I'm not really sure where the Burns comes from, but that's not his birth name, is all I'm saying.
Could be. Yeah, could be. I mean, and well, by the way, the most important subject to you. I mean, Civil War is a brilliant series. So no.
Again, of course.
How about baseball though? Did he do okay with baseball?
It's in between. It cuts both ways. There are good stuff and bad stuff. I mean, he does. He was forced to do an entire series on the Negro Leagues. He was forced to put in episodes way out of proportion with Jackie Robinson. So the woke factor is there in the baseball series, without a doubt. And then he does the jazz series, which is also, you know, superficially on top, heavy African American coverage.
Black.
Yeah, nonstop. So I think that's his superpower for the deep state, is to do that.
Well, and then he did that with Native Americans with the American Revolution. That is his most recent work. You know, that's under fire. I mean, did you know that the whole idea of the United States and the Constitution really came out of the tribal alliance? That's what he was peddling.
Of course. Well, that's what the corporations, look at the corporations that back him. That long list at the beginning of the PBS
Foundation is big on that
dude, there is a lot of nefarious activity with this cat. And I think he's in a lot of ways the original Alex Gibney.
Could be. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, PBS, you're already on the public payroll. Yeah. And like in the Joe Rogan interview, because I listened to a lot of it, he has only worked for PBS. He has only been effectively on the government payroll his whole career.
Yeah, it's kind of like Fauci controlling all those NIH grants for all those scientists who were beholden to him, Eric. You know what I mean? Once you're in that kind of pay system where you're getting grants to do documentaries like Ken Burns was, you can make the argument that it's similar to the academics getting grants through Fauci and having to kiss his ass.
Yeah. There's a lot of those. It's weird. I'm working on a book on fitness and stuff, and I'm back into running and, you know, looking into some of that stuff. And it reminds me of Nike. It's a similar situation. Like, I don't know if you realize how powerful Nike is when it comes to college and high school sports programs. Like, they literally fund every program in the United States. Right. And that allowed like Alberto Salazar of the Nike Oregon project to do just really questionable things, not only doping, but there were some SA charges against him, everything else. He was finally disgraced and permanently banned. But I just have been reading up on that because Steve Magnus was a whistleblower on that. He talked about, you know, like his career was kind of dead. It's like you go in and you say something against Nike, you're done. And PBS, there's different operators like that, but you're going to Fauci, and that is
what happened with Fauci. Is there something we should know about?
The people who
there's a few things, so I'm gonna let our friend Mark Halpern talk about it for a second. I've got different things to
next up.
Because he does a good job talking about the press and how the press is covering Fauci here.
The people who run the Washington Post, New York Times, and Wall Street Journal, who edited those stories, meet me at camera one. You should be ashamed of yourself. Not only are you doing a disservice to your readers in not accurately describing what's in those diaries, but you're continuing the alienation of 50% of the country that looks at either the lack of coverage or the minimalization of what's really in there, not just regarding his obsession, as Larry said, but his failure to do his job well. And you are asking half the country to say, yep, once again, these people do not get their responsibility. Kevin, I asked a number of Democrats, why do you guys like Fauci so much? Like, why are you still defending this guy?
Buddy in the middle.
And I got
I
great
know
answers,
the
and I'm
pipe
going to
is
share them
great.
on next up because my whole monologue is about this. Why Democrats, Kevin, why are so many Democrats still not just like kind of neutral on Fauci or be like, yeah, whatever. They're vociferously pro Fauci even after what was revealed.
Well, he was a compelling figure. It's clear that he became a legend in his own mind in terms of this attention.
I just thought that.
Oh,
I
the
had to
Brian
get
Stelter quote that he just goes berserk, even with his next up monologue, which I watched before the show.
Okay,
Again,
I see what
hammering Brian Stelter.
as he
But
should, because
yeah,
Brian Stelter's whole thing is being the watchdog of the media, and
right.
You know,
but for Mark to attack institutional media, Eric,
he
is
does that.
Yeah,
He does it.
Yeah,
But then he got Me Too'd. And I think that there's a little bit of that in there because they
Yeah.
probably rolled over on him. But I don't know what happened with Fauci. What's some of the stuff? Let's see. We've got Laura Ingram
soaking
talking
in the
about this.
love.
It's time for Seen and Unseen, where was a strange obsession.
Look, Laura, when you read these things, what emerges is a guy obsessed with his own celebrity and any celebrity, really. At one point, he writes of Julia Roberts, when my image came up on the screen, she gasped and said that every time she sees me, her throat gets dry and she gets nervous and excused herself to go into the kitchen and get a glass of water.
Dear Lord.
Now, he was apparently doing a lot of celebrity house
I like how he said water. I'm sorry.
calls, Laura, during this period. And they had bought into the Fauci publicity machine.
How rad that we have maybe the coolest man on the planet right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Wow. And there's the room. This is intense. Does anybody else have you
Oh my.
Walked in my
God.
house. You know, it's amazing. It's kind of like, just so you know, the awards that he got earlier in his career are what cements you to the deep state. They did it with Bruce Ivins, the anthrax scientist at Fort Detrick. Bush had given him the Congressional, Civil Service Award for citizens, and he had been embraced by the deep state even while the anthrax debacle was going on. Eric, the deep state has a long history of doing this with scientists who they want to take into their fold.
Oh yeah, I mean he's I think that the term fame whore would fit Fauci from what I'm seeing. Like here's this quote, and you sent it, Bill Melugin shared it out or whatever.
Oh yeah, the Melugin quote.
This is from 2013. Okay, so we're not harping on COVID here. This is 2013, 7 years prior.
Yep.
John told me that CDC complained to Bill Hall and HHS that I was getting all the publicity on an issue, influenza tracking, that they considered was their issue. I do not know who at CDC did this. It could be anyone from Tom Frieden, I doubt this, to more likely Tom Skinner, CDC PR person. In any event, it has nothing to do with my use of the word epidemic on Wolf Blitzer's show, and everything to do with pure jealousy that I am a rock star, glad he put in quotes, stealing their thunder. Shame on the CDC.
Well, one of the first targets of ACT UP during the AIDS crisis in New York was Anthony Fauci. He had signed a deal with a company which had a phony, very similar to the COVID vaccine, a phony cure for AIDS, and it destroyed the livers of the AIDS patients faster than AIDS did. And they were hip to this.
Right?
Yeah, they were hip to this. And he became public enemy number one in New York. The media's covered this up to reestablish him as this revered scientist. But he was protest outside of his office every day by ACT UP is actually formed because of Anthony Fauci, the radical gay organization. The number one thing was this AZT death sentence that he was giving out, and he kept saying it worked, knowing that it didn't. Sound familiar?
Yeah, it sounds so familiar. And of course, we have to be careful that what we're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually did an interview with somebody who covered all of that Bobby Kennedy referenced for his book. ultimately.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. It's all through
of it.
Bobby Kennedy's book. You're right.
Yeah,
That would be a good
I-
source to read about the history of this, because Kennedy's
Oh,
got
yeah.
a couple of chapters on it. Well, the whole book is about Fauci. I mean, it's a great book, but the chapters on AZT are very interesting.
Oh, yeah, and this is the guy who did all that stuff. I forgot.
By the
his
way,
name,
for the
but he was
people who thought that the jokes weren't very good at the Trump roast of the media, first of all, you don't know what you're talking about because you're not a comedy writer. The joke about RFK was absolutely brilliant. He says, "I hope you're enjoying your beef tips on your plate." That's from a actual cow killed by RFK. He sliced it up in his own house. I mean, absolutely brilliant. You don't know what you're fucking talking about.
Some of it, well, I think, was the delivery, and when he's
No,
got
it's the
such
audience.
such a flat room, it's hard,
Right.
and
Yeah, because there's no laughter. People are thinking the joke. I hear the jokes differently as a writer,
sure.
and I don't need the laughter. But I mean, that was a great riff. Great riff.
Well, and also they will do shit like when they're covering it, they will mic things deliberately to where you don't even hear the
For
crowd
sure.
if they are laughing. Like,
For sure.
I've seen that multiple times where you'll be at a live event or whatever, and everybody's laughing. You're like, oh yeah, it's pretty good and everything. And then you watch a playback and you're like, wow, what
That's why I'm
happened?
suggesting they should go in the opposite direction and put in a laugh track.
Well, why
That
not?
would be, great moments of Trump comedy. I'm sure there's a couple of albums of those out there.
Oh, I'm sure. And somebody released an AI of it, of the Caitlin Collins ones that I almost put up, but I didn't. But it just tightened it up where it's like boom, boom, more into a tighter pattern delivery. But I think he was trying to work the room, and they were just so dead, and he was struggling with that.
I think if the last one would have gone off as planned, they would have been heckling him and booing him for various things and doing some stunt protest. They didn't have the balls to do it this time because of
last time,
because of last time. But I think the last time they would have done some stuff.
Yeah, the 2028.
Yeah, that was funny.
Well, I mean, yes, and he knows exactly which buttons to do. And as perfect, that would be the laugh track, is to just flash on the faces of the.
Oh, of course, yeah, and you could get that from B-roll. Old
I mean, yes, and obviously the Collins Mulvaney is a well done.
I mean, she does look like her. I mean, it's not that big of a stretch.
No,
whoever came up with that joke ought to get a little bonus.
I agree. I totally agree. All right. Well, while we're on,
just to get back to the Fauci thing before we leave, I mean,
yeah, sure.
As Mark pointed out, not one piece of legacy media covered this.
No,
this is their game, Eric, is to make it non-news in some Orwellian world. That's why when Bill Maher was talking to Oliver Stone one time on Club Med, or whatever he calls this thing, Club Dread,
Club Random,
Oliver Stone was telling him things that Bill Maher had not heard about, and Stone was incredulous about it. But then I saw when Bill Maher had Jane Fonda on and was telling her about the state of California, and she said repeatedly, "I've never heard anything like that." It's because of this isolation bubble.
Well, and we've seen demonstrations of that. The side point, remember when they went around, I forgot that it was a black commentator, conservative commentator, and he was interviewing a white woman about Spencer Pratt. And she was like, "Oh, he lost his house? Oh, I didn't know that.
Right,
I didn't know that." And he said, "Oh, this is the policy." And she goes, "Oh, I think I would like that." Because they have no idea.
They're in a silo. They're in a silo.
Well, and
by the way, if you want to see
the silo is the mainstream media, dude.
No, it's a huge silo. I mean, it's a huge fucking silo. But to not cover news, they used to do this thing where they would just report the facts in a small article, saying, in other words, and I'm just riffing on this, the diaries of Anthony Fauci were released today by the so-and-so.
Yeah.
And that's the article. That's it. No analysis, no editorial, no nothing.
Yep.
And they don't even do that now, is what Mark Halperin's saying.
No, I agree. But Dustin's right. We forgot this point. Two-Way summed it up. The reason why they love Fauci so much is he's what cost Trump the election. The
Right.
lockdowns ultimately did cost him 2020. He probably
but
would have
also,
survived
as
it.
Mike Benz points out, the story is interwoven with American intelligence using biolabs overseas,
Yeah.
and the culpability that we have, not just with Fauci, but with biolabs in Wuhan, biolabs in Ukraine, biolabs around the world. Now, the biolabs, as I was explaining to somebody in the locals, unstructured.locals.com this morning, is that it originated at Fort Detrick. My friend's father, among others, I mean, I just happen to know the inside story because of my friend's father, who was there developing biological and bacterial weapons in Fort Detrick. They eventually got nervous that it was so close to the seat of government, so they moved it out of Fort Detrick around the United States, and then either Obama or Bush banned it from the geographical United States. And that's when it went out of the country overseas, but we still ran it with Fauci.
I think that actually is probably tied to Operation Paperclip, because we are already doing shit overseas.
I don't know about that.
With Unit 31 or whatever it was. No, I'm just saying we had little.
No, I'm just saying the direct movement out of Fort Detrick.
Sure.
They had some leaks at Fort Detrick. It scared the living shit out of people. You had Bruce Ivins, the anthrax guy who worked at Fort Detrick. They eventually, congressionally and with the executive branch, decided to get them out of Fort Detrick. But that put them in South Dakota. That put them at Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where they still are, people. Take a look at the University of North Carolina. They're still doing gain of function research down there, boys. You may want to go over and have a look. But for the most part, it was banned, even under Obama, to be out of the country. And that's when we set up these labs overseas around the world, simply moving it offshore, so to speak.
Well, and Obama did flat out say stop, and Fauci was sneaking it around. And
absolutely.
Anyway, so
absolutely,
to credit to Obama administration, they did say stop this shit.
To his credit. Now, if you read the diaries and you read the emails, you will see the fight over the wet market theory. They knew that it was the Wuhan lab. He has to be brought up on charges for that alone. I don't give a shit about his grandiosity in these emails. It's fun and cocktail chatter, to laugh about. But his complicity in covering up this Wuhan lab leak is one of the greatest crimes in American history. I mean, there's got to be some sort of day of reckoning for this.
Well, and it is really sad when even Jon Stewart is going around saying, there's a lab there. It's called the Wuhan Lab of Viral Research. I think it came from that, even he, and he's, happy to carry weight and everybody else or everything else for him. Actually, is a segue, because I'm thinking, biolabs, everything else, Plum Island. There are questions about Plum Island and Lyme disease. And I just happened across this article. People are so desperate to cure their Lyme disease that they're deliberately stinging themselves with bees now.
Oh, maybe it works. Who knows?
I don't know, but
maybe it works.
I guess the claim is that the tick-borne disease is bee-borne venom can help treat it.
Maybe it does.
Well, let's see what this person had to say. Oh, that's her just
putting a bee there.
Yep, stinging herself. And,
oh my Lord. Jesus. What a nut.
Yeah. Okay. So
there's another crazy dame out in the Long Island somewhere. But the fact of the matter is, Eric's right. And we've had a long history of this and a long secret history of this. That's why Fauci got the awards. He's the guy they want to cement into the deep state. 7 presidents had to kowtow to this little mutt.
Yeah, no, I agree. And while you're talking about crazy females, I'm just gonna use anything as a segue today. That's my that is my goal in life. So
right.
I don't know if you've seen these politicians, and of course they're lefty politicians out of Seattle. You had a mass shooting situation, and the mayor, is scrambling to deal with it. The police chief, but anyway, here's the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we coordinated with SPD and agreed that it was time to talk to the media, as soon as that we were going to be doing that, I and Governor Ferguson and Congresswoman Jayapal,
all three broads,
seen within minutes.
So you can say his office unequivocally did not tell you to leave?
No, absolutely not.
So then what was the delay? Because there's basic information, and I know SPD has gotten training on this and paid a pretty...
Okay, the complaint, they're asking about a delay of hours.
Oh, it's 5.5 hours.
Exactly. Of anybody knowing what the hell was going on. So that's what they're asking. It's just quiet.
Right. And I'll explain the reason that they waited.
In the basics, the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s of what happened. You had people running, you had people shot on the ground with bullet holes in their backs, covered in white sheets, and we are sitting here waiting. And the only thing that we had was a tweet and people who were afraid, and a lot of information on social media fill in the vacuum. So why is it that citizens in the city of Seattle had to wait for almost 5 hours to get answers? So serious, it's like national headlines.
She looks like a strong leader.
My office put out a statement at 8:30, which again included an initial inaccuracy. So again, this speaks to the tension between providing information early and providing it accurately. So we, along with SPD, were trying to manage that tension, and we got information out to you all as soon as we possibly.
Okay, so
let me explain the tension, because the tension is really this black chief of police and the fact that the shooting was done by black teenage gangs shooting each other. They didn't know what to put out, and they stayed in a office for 5.5 hours with this guy, trying to come up with a storyline that would soften the impact of black teenage gangs having a shootout in Seattle, which is the truth of the matter. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, this is the chief not being happy that somebody questioned him, and listen to his defense. It sounds like a 13-year-old kid.
I have been here working as hard as I can for this city from the day I got here. You got that?
But there are reports that you are not in town often.
Look at this guy.
Reports are wrong. Do you understand? Let's go, man. Let's go.
Whoa.
So when
I work. Let's go.
Whoa.
Let's go.
What a thug. What a piece of shit thug. What a piece of shit.
I work hard. I work hard.
This was a gang shooting with teenagers, and they don't know how to Marxist handle it. They don't know how to communistically PR handle it. If it was some white nationalist that they would finger, this would have been out in 5 minutes on their website. The longer it took, the longer I knew there was a cover-up in Seattle. And Jason Rance is up there, friend of the show, by the way, covering this really well for people who want to follow the storyline.
By the way, Jason's moving up. He's like appearing on television left and right now, on Newsbacks and other channels, I've noticed. So good on him. He's like as guest host and things. But I want to take it because it's not only there that we see the issue. I grabbed this video. This is actually the Asheville chief of police. And, well, let's just say that she can't say the word gang.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Watch this. It's very funny to see her twist herself.
Does the Asheville Police Department believe this is two families that are rivaling against each other here, or is it gang violence?
This is a group.
Group. It's a group.
Individuals know one another.
They know one another. See, they can't. It's against their Marxist lexicon.
Two guys that got in a fight over a bar or something like that?
These are groups.
They're groups.
Again, that are committing acts of violence against one another.
Yeah.
Like crime. I like that. Crime group.
Crime group. Good one.
And then here we go. I don't know why it's quiet. I jacked up the volume early. Anyway, whatever.
I would say these are two groups of individuals. I would say there are, ties to them knowing each other.
Oh my God. The double speak is breathtaking, you nutty Marxist bitch. Just spit it out.
I know. I love it. It's groups that knew each other prior, and they have retaliatory.
The word gangs is now considered racist by the Marxist lexicon. That's the answer to the entire quiz.
Oh my God. But
so when they have a gang shooting, like in Chicago every weekend where 25 to 35 kids are shot, they either don't cover it or just say there was a shooting without any explanation.
And there you
But
go.
I'll tell you something. These chiefs of police in a lot of these urban areas are the enforcer thugs for these women mayors.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times these women police chiefs too. And it's like,
right. No, but I'm saying that's why I've always been opposed to these mayors having the somehow ability to appoint the head of a 5,000 man army to work for them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? While we're doing the communism roll call, we have our other current favorite Islamo communist out of New York, Mandami, who has created a pied-à-terre what tax list, including his supporters. So I love this. He's published a list that's searchable of everybody who owns properties, from my understanding, it's about $5 million or more.
Well, he's doxing them.
Exactly. And it's given addresses, and it includes people like Cynthia Nixon, who supported him.
By the way, Cynthia Nixon was just appointed to review and approve judge nominations. This is a civilian woman who I did a film with when she was heterosexual, and later, after the film, became a lesbian. So this is a woman who changes sexuality, let alone judges.
Yeah. I'm sorry you had her. I remember her. And, oh, okay. I'm like, you said that, you know, she changed over. I'm like, well, she probably ran out of options and had to go.
She definitely ran. But in the film, it's a romance, and she is a heterosexual in the film at that era of her career.
Well, she was a heterosexual in Sex and the City.
That's right. That's right. And in real life is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Rosie O'Donnell claimed to be straight at one time too, right?
That I don't remember. Could be. Could be.
Anyway, you know, I love that he's set that up. He also, I don't have the story on hand, but he has set up grocery stores.
Oh yeah, that story is just great because of the Kansas City grocery store
and Chicago. Remember,
and Chicago grocery store. The Kansas City one is just fantastic. It's completely empty and just smells of rotted meat when you go in there. From nobody cleaning it up, and it's just right out of the Soviet Union. The Chicago one, the same thing happened.
Yep.
What Eric's referring to is Mandami's press conference today or yesterday, saying they're going to stock the food in the store at 30% off the actual retail cost in these stores.
Period. No question. No.
Yeah, straight up 30 off the top. So, a 6-pack of Coca-Cola, which would be $7, will be 30% less than $7. So why would you go to the place where it's the normal price?
Yeah.
Right. So what happens is within a week, all of the stocks, and because some of the people who come into bodegas and come into Walmart and come into other box stores are people who have retail operations. Eric knows this. People will go into Walmart because you've got a little mom and pop grocery store. That's in essence what they're going to do in reverse here and clean out the stocks within a day, because the other stores are going to come in, buy the thing for 30% off, because the markup in a retail grocery store is 2%.
2 to 5% max.
Right. So if you could get the items for 30% off, you have a chance of making 27% profit just on those items, which is why the stocks are always cleared out of any of these urban communistic attempts at making Soviet grocery stores.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, you see that now. You mentioned Walmart, but like Costco and BJ's, a ton of small businesses go in there and buy like the massive toilet paper or whatever, and sell individually. But yeah, here he is talking about it.
Today, I am proud to announce a collection of essential staples that will be predictably 30% cheaper at all 5 of our city-run grocery stores.
If I may interject right here for 1 second. What they are going to have to implement immediately, like the Soviets, is 2 per customer because of what I just described.
Sure.
So these embittered people, the line is going to be around the block. to buy a dozen eggs and a dozen eggs, because they'll say, 2 eggs per customer, because the bodega guy who's across the street is going to buy 15 of them for that price. Go ahead.
Right, but the bodega guy is going to send in 15 homeless people to each buy one, and then you go right back. So
absolutely,
it won't matter.
It's reason number 913 why I say that capitalism and socialism cannot work in the same country, because they bang into each other at these points of conflict. And either they destroy capitalism and take it over completely, or we crush them and take it over completely. But something's got to give.
Yeah, well, it reminds me, when I was in Cuba, one of the people who was providing security was a guard, was a Marine, but he was a Russian. He was born in the Soviet Union, grew up there. A lot of people, came over, joined the military to become citizens. He was talking about, I said, what is successful in the Soviet Union? Like, what is a career that's worth, money? What do you want to be? Like, normally would say doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, all that kind of thing. And he said in the Soviet Union, a grocer, a warehouse worker, those were the people that had the damn money, because they're selling shit out the back door in black market, and black market controlled everything.
How long is it going to take in East New York, Brooklyn, for that to happen in that store?
Yeah. But he
doesn't care, because he's in it for the symbolism.
Proud he is. He's got his press moment. Who gives a shit? He
doesn't give a shit. He just is about his symbolism of it.
Oh yeah.
Look at that woman looking at him.
Goods will include all fresh produce, meat, and seafood, along with 20 other essential items like cheese, milk. And
seafood's essential items. You gotta have shrimp in there.
Month, our 5 city-run grocery stores will set prices for this core set of goods at 30% below typical retail prices. No exceptions, no gimmicks.
Okay, let's see what happens, fuckface.
For the entire month. That means no weekly fluctuations nor sticker shock at the checkout line. Not for our seniors living on fixed incomes, nor for the parents who rely on a regular supply of apple slices to keep toddler tantrums at bay. Now,
how are they going to keep these places stocked? Are there more employees now doing this?
We all see this incredible example of produce in my hand.
Hey, why don't you eat them right?
Now you will see these plantains here. So for anyone wondering how much these beautiful plantains might cost,
is that a banana?
You can use this QR code or head to grocery.com.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it is. It's underripe banana.
Oh, okay. But you'll see how quickly this descends into madness.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're basically artificially propping up a grocery store as a flagship, symbolic gesture to socialism. That's the essence of it. Is it effective in terms of symbolism? Yeah. Is it effective in terms of shopping? Of course not.
I like this person, Charlie FLA. New York City got their lettuce cheap from Taco Bell.
That's funny.
Probably would. And yes, I don't know why the videos are playing quiet today, guys. Sorry. I mean, it is. I can't control it while it's happening. But anyway, that is.
I just want to give a shout out for people who are curious about the subject. Chris Rufo was on with Dave Rubin this week for an entire show, and Chris Rufo explains the state of socialism in the United States right now, where we are, and I highly recommend you watch this Chris Rufo Dave Rubin episode if you're interested in this subject.
Yes, well, Rufo's on the case. He's a long term. He's been exposing a lot of leftist things and whatnot, in education, police, etc. He's like Mike Benz, Rufo, Taibbi's doing it now. I mean, it's helpful because I think Rufo's actually from the left, and when
a lot of them are
kind of like
a lot of them are
like Taibbi is from
Michael
the left.
Schellenberger too is one of them.
Yeah, well, I think he's deep state. So,
well, even the deep state can help us if they want to.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, while we're on that, speaking of communism, did you see the clip from the DSA co-chair?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, this one plays a little bit.
So we're going to put up on the screen a few.
Okay, that one sounds like it's louder.
Okay.
This is her being asked directly. Remember, I said that they put out a platform, so she's being asked directly about her platform. Is this true or false?
So we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate.
Why are they rolling?
True. Okay. Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Look how fat and proud she is.
No, absolutely. I just wish they weren't rolling them because she's like 5 behind in her questions. You can't even read them.
Well,
just
that's true, but-
barely produced.
True.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
As a long-term plan, yep.
Absolutely.
Defund the Pentagon.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Are you
Abolish
kidding?
prisons, at least in large part.
Immediately.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. I mean, from her mouth.
No, I don't believe her, Eric. I think she's lying. I think this is not their goals. It's not their platform. She's not saying this on public TV. And I'm just going to go back to playing golf.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Wow. And
could you imagine someone saying this in 1970 in the United States when we still had the Cold War with the Soviets? I mean, just think about the ramifications of what she's saying, because it's not just some chick in a bar, which AOC was. Now they're elected officials. And if they can't alter the law, they can at least muck up what is ongoing. And that's part of their plan, is to muck up whatever they can until they, get a majority.
Well, honestly, in the 1970s, that would have been on CBS or NBC. Like,
yeah,
I
this
is the alternate platform, folks.
Or have her on 60 Minutes. Have her on 60 Minutes.
Oh,
Mike
absolutely.
Wallace. Have Mike Wallace rip her fat asshole apart.
Oh yeah, I mean that would be major news. It'd be totally mainstream of like, what the hell?
Well, they're in on it now. They have made up their minds. When you're making $2 million a year, you can endorse anything you want. You can endorse socialism, Islamicism, anything you want.
Yeah, I do think I don't know who was talking about. I know Tim Pool has and others, but I could see it being totally out of the fact that like Colombia is being fed by these rich white liberals, whatever you want to call them. And yeah, they're all communists because they can afford it.
Yeah, that's a great quote. I'm a communist because I can afford it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need the police. I have security.
Yeah,
it's just, it is just bonkers. And while we're into corrupt political figures from the Northeast, let's tip over to Mikey Sherrill.
Oh yeah, what's going on there?
Mikey Sherrill, her 6,000 votes, the dirty polls. Here is her statement.
The Trump administration is seeking, I believe by today, the list of non-citizens who are registered to vote, and the approximately 400 that did vote. To what extent will your administration comply with the Trump administration's request in that regard?
As I have said, I am not in the habit of turning over private identifying administration.
Public records. They're not private. They're public records.
The citizens of New Jersey.
Public records.
This federal
Sorry.
government is weaponizing the government against individuals that disagree with them. They weaponized my private data against me in my election, and so I am working to protect people
Okay,
and their
we'll
private
see you in
data
court, bitch.
Here in New Jersey.
We'll see you in
You
court.
know what her private data was? She was like part of some serious corruption scandals in the Navy, and a lot of weird things went on with her.
Yeah, she's going to fight to the death. That's okay. That's okay. Bring it on, bitch. I mean, you're telling me New Jersey's corrupt? What else is shocking news?
Well, that's true.
Come on.
Somebody was talking about New Jersey. And
It's
saying
New
that-
Jersey, for
Well, they
Christ's
say
sake.
Chris Christie actually did a pretty good job because it's impossible not to be corrupt and be a governor of New Jersey.
The disguise is that she's a woman. That's the disguise, folks. Some anxious white liberal woman is now the fat Chris Christie.
Yeah. Well, apparently, Harmie Dillon is on it.
Good.
And she's saying, let's see, every single person, who voted illegally canceled out the vote of a New Jersey voter, which is shameful.
That's right.
And instead of pointing fingers at the president, which is what Governor Sherrill did, she should be raising her hand to work with the federal government to clean this up ASAP, because that's a vow she took when she ran for office and got sworn in as the governor of her state to protect her citizens, and her citizens have a right to vote.
Now, keep in mind, it's not the Trump administration doing this. It's not the Department of Agriculture. It's the Department of Justice. I mean, it's not like Trump woke up one day and said, I want those records. This is from the DOJ, Eric, over numerous court-settled cases.
Yeah. Oh, they broke the law. I mean,
right.
This is
at first she admits she broke the law. Then she says, I'm not going to cooperate with the highest Justice Department in the United States. Why? Because I'm protecting private rights of citizens in New Jersey. The private rights she's protecting are the ones that voted.
Citizen, by the way.
But yeah, the ones who voted and registered illegally, who she's now helping their privacy.
Now, by the way, can I point out? I sent you this in a DM or somewhere this week, but our friend James Robinault was writing for Vanity Fair.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he's wrote a piece about how Trump is working on, guess what?
A third term.
Stealing the election. So I love how this works. It's like, if it's Trump, it must be stolen. It's got to be Russia. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. Then some weird stuff happens, and more people in the history of the world voted for Biden, and people are going, boy, this looks really hard. And they mock that. They say, okay, anybody who questions that, how dare you ever question any election? They're all pure as the driven snow. And now we're right back around, and it's like,
well, you're right. It's because they protest too much, don't they, Eric?
Yeah.
They doth protest a little too much. I mean, those Biden tapes by prosecutor Herr that came out this week, again, not covered by any mainstream media organization, has a 2016, 2017 rambling Alzheimer's patient who doesn't know what day it was. At one point, the tapes that I listened to, the guy was asking him when he got these certain documents, and he's going, my son died that year. And he was only off by 5 years. He was off by 5 years.
His son has died like 5 different ways.
Right. No, but the guy said, no, I'm talking. He says, when did your son die? And he says, he couldn't recall. I mean, it was just breathtaking because it was so long ago. This is 10 years ago.
Right. But this is before he ran. This
yes,
is, and he may have still been VP at the time, or just left.
Yes.
The position.
Well, he took the documents when he left.
Yeah. Well,
that's where he got the doc. I mean, he
I just found them downstairs, Mark.
He accumulated them over the years. But remember, the people who were moving him out of the vice presidential mansion said that he specifically, because his lawyer said that movers did this. The people from the government who were moving his office said he interceded and physically put the boxes in the trucks himself.
Yeah, of course he did. And by the way, unlike Trump, who as president of the United States had 100% ability to look at and declassify everything.
I know.
As vice president,
I don't know why
he did not even have rights to those documents to have them leave the White House.
Why doesn't Halpern understand that? He keeps mocking Trump about the Mar-a-Lago documents that were completely legitimately to his rights to have in a secure place, protected by Secret Service, protected by everything. You couldn't have a more secure place for those documents. And
which Larry was trying to point out this morning, and Mark wrote over him. And
that's right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Move.
Yeah.
But it's because, kind of like January 6th, these are now part of the overall fiction. They are part of the narrative. So this is now the historical record, and we cannot deviate.
Well, look what they
revisit.
Right.
Because
they give you awards. As I've said, the deep state gave Pulitzer Prize awards to the New York Times and the Washington Post to stories that we now know are fallacious, to cement them, to give them gravity. to bring them into the fold. You are now someone who's won a Pulitzer Prize for a cock and bull story. Are you going to give up your medals and turn yourself in? Nobody's going to do that.
No. And have they ever pulled back? Oh, no, wait, they did pull back one Pulitzer, didn't they? Bob Woodward's friend, right? Didn't they pull back her award?
Oh, the reporter. That was maybe a Peabody.
But it was a rarity. I mean, in general, it's like they win it, and they got it forever.
No, her story, she was making up stories about inner city kids and stuff like that.
I want to answer this one, and it's a fair question. I don't understand why you keep listening to Mark Halperin. We listen.
Well, there's 3 people on there, bro.
Right. It is a place where you get to see the viewpoints of different
sides.
It's
not him by himself. Larry O'Connor is a very provocative, conservative radio veteran. I mean, I don't understand what this guy's question is.
Well, I mean, Mark can get on my last nerve too. But yeah, I mean, it's the same we watched before with Sean Spicer, former press secretary under Donald Trump. And honestly, Kevin's not that bad. The Democrat on there half the time is
he's pretty moderate. He's pretty moderate. Plus, I don't know.
He's married to a Republican,
and his parents are Republicans too, right? But
now he lives in South Carolina. So
he has to toe the party line. But again, I don't know all these primaries that are happening around the country. I watch that to learn about who's running where and when.
Yeah, what's the hot news of the day? Let's check in what's being said. And at least they talk about this shit. Nobody was reporting any of the Biden bit. Nobody was reporting a Fauci bit, but they are at least discussing it.
He said it was despicable that they weren't covering it. So there's that too.
That's true. Oh, you know what? Somebody brought this up. I forgot. No Agenda Show, RIP, John C. Dvorak. John C. Dvorak did die. I think it was actually died last week, but it didn't roll out. I don't know who he is. John C. Dvorak is a huge figure in the podcast world. The show is called No Agenda. It's been around since 2010. They're the first self-funded podcast where they are completely supported by user donations and things like that. And before that, John C. Dvorak was like one of the top tech reporters going all the way back to like 1979. Very famously, he was the one, to his shame, but because I always thought it was funny, he said that this whole mouse thing is bullshit and nobody is going to ever use it, and it was going to die on the vine. So unfortunately, he got a kind of a bad start on that, but he is a legendary figure. No Agenda is kind of it was a politically oriented show. It's slight libertarian bent at Adam Curry, who invented the podcast, or co-invented the podcast as well. So, rest in peace. A lot of our audience is familiar with John C. Dvorak. So
never heard of him. I'll take your word for it. I also wanted to point out something that was local. I don't know if you're going to get up to that or not yet, but like the show that we pointed out about the squatters. Remember we were talking about the squatter show?
Oh, yeah. I've got that.
Okay, so the squatters show spun out of guys who were hired by homeowners. It's kind of a grassroots thing, Eric. It's kind of wonderful, around the country, who use their skills to get the squatters out of your property, and you're just wiping your hands of it and say, I hired this company. That's now a TV show, by the way, for people who like that sort of stuff. But there's a new one coming out, not a TV show. There's a new group coming out called Ghost Town. Is Ghost Town is a new organization that's formed. It looks like the Punisher logo is what the way
Batman.
I look at it.
It's like the Batman symbol with the Punisher logo.
Yeah, I've heard both. And it's being run by some sharp people, but they've hired various ex-gang members and various security type people and various ex-cops and various bouncers to get rid of your homeless problem. And this is like for private homeowners, for businesses, for guys who have tried every single legitimate way. And this is sweeping through Southern California now, especially in Venice and Santa Monica, where these homeless people are being removed by this organization called Ghost Town, which used to be a name for Venice, by the way. And nobody knows where they've gone to, and nobody cares, because the liberals are saying, well, where do they go? And this company's going, we don't give a shit. They're not paying us. These people are paying us to get them off their front lawn. We don't give a shit where they went to, and we're not telling you either.
I just thought of something. I can't believe I never thought of it before. Where the hell has organized crime been? I mean, this is the perfect opportunity. It's like a protection racket. You could just go in and be like, yeah, it would get you out of the house. I mean,
there's very little of it out here on the West Coast. But the point of the matter is the American ingenuity of forming this company. I saw the owner. I saw an interview with the owner. Very normal person, very nice guy. He's brought in some muscle, and they have removed at paid request these locusts. These homeless people have set up tents on their front lawns and stuff, or blocking their restaurants and everything else. And they've tried everything on the earth through urban politicians to get this resolved, to no avail. So Americans are taking matters into their own hands, which is what I always recommend for these types of problems.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a shout out to
That's why I was saying that the mob had a perfect opportunity. You can open an office and say, hey, you know what? We can offer this service too, and probably be very effective. And they already have legal teams to help them out. So
there's no mob out here. So this is what's running it now is OGs.
Call the Armenians. Maybe they can help you out. No.
You know what? The Armenians might be able to do it, but then they're going to take a cut of your action. These guys are a corporation who are legit, and apparently you get a receipt, unlike the mob.
Okay. Well, I'm just pointing out. All right. Speaking of receipts, here's somebody who wants to rescind a plea.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw this, but if you recall, well, let me read the headline, then I'll talk about it. Bryan Kohberger now claims he's innocent, wants to withdraw his guilty plea in a shocking first prison interview. Now, remember my number one complaint about Bryan Kohberger, and I'm not the only one, but I complained about this completely. Why was there no allocution? I wanted him to say, I'm guilty. I did this. I did this. I did this. Walk him through. Same way the BTK. He had to walk through, did this. Because he has no allocution. Now he's like, oh, ineffective assistance of counsel. Oh, they all conned me and everything. It's, I think, a much harder deal to overcome a guilty plea if you say, well, yeah, I went in the door and then I did this and then I did that,
yeah, for sure.
Or whatever else.
Definitely.
And I think that Andrea Burkhart, a lawyer I've had on, brought it up. I think it's totally true. That judge made a serious error in not getting him to actually allocute. Now, what's interesting is a family member actually is saying that he would like there to be a retrial.
Oh,
I don't know if he's just speaking to it, but he's saying, Bryan Kohberger's victim dad would love a retrial, a second shot at the accused murderer. That, I think, would be an interesting deal. Like Alex Murtaugh out of South Carolina is going to get a new trial. But because he's getting a new trial, guess what may be back on the table? The death penalty. So wouldn't it be an interesting situation where you get Kohberger and somehow he squeezes out a new trial, but then I believe they do have the death penalty in Idaho, and all of a sudden, sorry, your conviction was life in prison off of your plea, and now capital punishment. So,
well, that would be karmic.
I think that would be a good move. And I'm going to shift over. You sent me this link actually earlier, sent from the same publication that did the Crime Town or whatever it was. This one is kind of crazy, but it involves a murderer. Why is there a mosaic of Jim Jones outside of a Silver Lake Elementary School?
Okay, first of all, this is right by me, and that school's been there for a long time, and nobody has an answer to this. There are various tile mosaics around, and the real answer is it doesn't involve the school. It just happens to be in front of the school. And
Sure.
This is, to make a long story short, somebody's version of urban street art that's been up there for a while. The tile person does this around the town. In this case, it was Jim Jones, to be provocative, but it's been there for a while and nobody ever saw it or said anything about it, Eric. So it's kind of funny that he'd be outside of this private school.
Well, I agree. And it makes me think of, there was a yearbook, and I had the story pulled up. I don't have it on hand now, where they had like baby pictures of all the students, and somebody snuck in a baby picture of Hitler.
That's funny.
And then they like pulled all the yearbooks trying to figure out who the hell put in the Hitler baby picture.
You'd be shocked how many people did not, how many groups did not change the name of Cesar Chavez after the stories broke. They changed some things, but most of them still say Cesar Chavez.
What did he get busted for? Was he Me Too?
Oh, it was just underage sexual stuff.
Yeah, okay, so it's standard Me Too. So, okay,
right, yeah, it's just underage stuff, that he did with the victims coming out and saying, including his number one partner, saying she was raped herself. I mean, you couldn't get any lower, and yet some organizations quickly changed the name, got rid of Cesar Chavez, but many others are still named after him.
Well, I mean, again, that's kind of like the Graham Plattner situation and other things like that. In my opinion, it's not because they care. It's because, he's going to lose. But the actual crimes, I don't think they're really that worried about it. In general, and same thing with Chavez. It's like, that's going to give you a bad name, or we may lose some traction. I don't think they really care that much about it, because it's the same people who support this. Tax-funded trans dolls with removable genitalia back in Minnesota, folks. So in Minnesota, for little kids, they have paper dolls that to encourage kids to be very confused. She's so proud of herself. Look
at her, this piece of shit.
She's so proud. Oh my.
Man, I'd like to, just spray some lighter fluid on that and just light it up and walk away.
Yeah.
Just go in there, spray it, light it, split,
Anyway, it's sick. And we see that. And by the way, it's the same state that Tim Walz pardoned somebody who was convicted. Okay. So when I say the person did it, he's convicted, whatever. No, he's pardoned. Was he commuted? No.
It
was full freaking pardon. He was illegal to begin with. Harmed a child. Pardoned by Waltz. This is Minnesota for you.
How did he get that muscle? How did that guy? He must have had some money behind him and bought that. I just don't think that this guy woke up one day and says, I'm going to pardon this particular criminal. I find that hard to believe.
I do too, but I'm just saying, if you think about it, this is the same damn state. Now, Shiloh Hendricks, obviously, I don't agree with anybody using the N-word like that in public, etc. But she's getting locked up for speech. I don't care how you break it down. I had a large argument with Nate over the weekend about it, because it's ridiculous that they have disorderly conduct laws. He was breaking down how they could get away with it legally, and it is horrible.
You're right. The phrase is getting away with it legally. That's the phrase. Yeah. I don't know if our judicial system should get away with stuff legally. It doesn't sound too high and mighty.
Well, and this is a case I think needs to go to the Supreme Court, because the law itself, I think, is bullshit.
Of course.
Of the whole, the claim
the law is not bullshit. It's the stretching of it to cover this situation is bullshit.
Well, the law was I think it is, because the law is the.
What's in the law? I'm not aware.
It's fighting words. The law is fighting words, and as he was explaining it to me, essentially, if you walk into a place where what you say is going to cause a reaction, then you can be charged. And I'm like,
that's insane. That's totally
to
insane.
me, fighting words is a defense, not a chargeable thing. Like if I walk up to somebody and say, hey, you blah, 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 and get popped in
You're
the
right.
nose,
It's a defense.
that would be a defense saying, it was fighting words. But they're actually flipping it and saying, she said this and he could be offended, so therefore we're going to prosecute her after
They're
4-day
trying to
trial.
put the European Union's moral guidelines onto us. They're always trying to make us into Europe. These are the crimes that they have in the EU. Yeah. These people, they get their daughters, they come back from Europe after they graduate college, and they say, this is how they live there. Why can't we live like that, Daddy? You're a judge, Daddy. Why can't you do something?
Yeah,
that's how it starts. I mean, that's how this whole thing, that's where it came from.
I agree. But anyway, it's frustrating.
Words. Give me a break.
And disorderly conduct.
It doesn't even apply there. It does. I mean, but,
right now, if technically, like you're walking out, you're just walking out past somebody gets in your face and they're like, you, blah, blah, blah. That's disorderly conduct. Okay, sure. I agree. You're in my face and you're doing that. Not cool. But the rest is bullshit. This is a follow-up story. I think I told you about how the FCC is cracking down on DJI, the Chinese privately owned company that has at least 15% or more ownership from the CCP. What they did is they registered new companies that were
you said it last couple of weeks ago, right?
Products.
Right. Well, yeah, I remember.
They were doing pre-orders for the camera that was going to roll out the very newest, latest, sexiest thing at all. And now they've had to cancel all pre-orders. They're pulling it off the market. FCC is retroactively potentially banning the product. So they
Wait, what is it? A camera? Is on a pro camera?
Yeah, this is a
what's wrong with it?
It's a gimbal camera. I have something similar.
Right, but what's wrong with this one? It's because it's tied to the CCP?
Yeah, this is technically a DJI camera that has another company and label on it to be sold in the United States because they're on a list that doesn't allow them to sell.
Right. My question is, why are they on that list? Like, what's their thing?
Because they have
a tariff or something, or
no, it's because the ownership of the CCP, and they did not turn over documents and lab information specifically with their drones. It's a drone company as well.
Okay.
And because they're not responding to this and submitting for the paperwork, they keep ducking around.
Okay.
They're in trouble. And then here,
I got
they're trying to backdoor it, and they're just selling the product itself to the U.S. market under another name. So
I'm with you.
Anyway, it's an interesting development that has happened there. And I wanted to share this. Somebody shared this with us, but I thought it was pretty cool. Something that is very flattering to you, Mark.
Oh, no, come on.
It is. The individual involved is this guy is no friend of Israel. I will tell you that.
Okay.
But I did interview him. He is a former CIA officer who went to prison for a couple of years.
I saw this. Yeah, I saw this clip. Go ahead.
But
that's funny.
People might like this.
I think you need some sound on this one, though.
Is there no sound?
No, there's nothing on this one.
Okay, hang on. I will fix that. I think it got bumped. So hold on. This is how the sausage is made, folks. Stop the screen. Thank you. Sorry about that. But anyway, boom, 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 boom. Are you hearing it now?
No.
See now. Hold on.
Series portrays spy work the most accurately? Great question.
Yeah. All right, did you hear
Film or TV series portrays spy work the most accurately? Great question. I will tell you that at the CIA, we watch every single spy movie and spy.
No, I'm shocked.
All of us do. I'm proud to say that I have been the script advisor on The Bourne Ultimatum, on Kill the Messenger, on True Lies, and on Burn Notice.
It's amazing how freely they're talking, how he's bragging about doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Burn Notice. We love this kind of thing.
Of course
Most of them have nothing whatsoever to do with the reality of the CIA.
What did he need a consultant from the CIA
in terms of
for,
TV?
fuckface?
Homeland. wow.
Oh, all of a sudden
they got
that
it
one
right.
works, huh?
The only thing that they got wrong was if you go crazy, they send you to the hospital until you're not crazy anymore.
No, they promote your ass.
Yeah.
I mean, if I recall.
In movies, there was
What's
a
your
movie that
favorite
came out
movie?
in 2004 called The Recruit.
What?
The first half of the movie
That I wrote?
where the lead character is going through training, 100% accurate,
Thank
except for
you.
one minor difference. They didn't beat us in training. Everything else that he went through, whew, we went through it in spades. Most other movies, stinkers. And listen, just as a general rule, if somebody calls the CIA the company, turn it off.
Okay.
Oh, they also hate it when you call them agents. They
Right,
hate it. Don't.
They also hate when you say the CIA.
Well, that's kind of like the
instead of
Ukraine.
CIA. And in fact, the case, you know, when I wrote this, the information that I used for my script, which was originally called The Farm, was from their CIA manual that I somehow got my hands on. That's why Kiriko doesn't realize why I was so accurate.
Okay, that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, he's like I said, he's
Well, you can read more about it in Tricia Jenkins' book, Hollywood and the CIA. There's a chapter on what we're talking about now.
or you could always watch our episodes on
Oh,
it.
yeah, there's a visual.
The
handy-
CIA in Hollywood where he breaks it
I
all
think we
down.
discuss it in,
and then read Tricia Jenkins.
in detail. We discuss it by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And we have literally a playlist.
It's so
of
funny
and
that they
other
used to hide this, and now he's openly bragging about the interference in these productions.
Well, I mean, considering he's on, first off, the Russian payroll. He admittedly, he's gone to prison. He's no friend of the CIA. You know, he's kind of a disgraced CIA officer.
Okay, but he's telling the truth. He's saying, you know, it doesn't matter if that's the case, but he is saying out loud what they have never said out loud before.
Right, but I'm saying that it's not like the guy has any loyalty to the CIA. I think
Oh, no.
is
We
one
don't
person.
know. I don't know if he does or he doesn't. I'm sure he's got a lot of friends who still work there or did work there.
It could be.
Yeah.
Let me see. We have this clip about Don Lemon.
Oh, this is good. This is
You mentioned
good.
a moment ago, got the indictment from a source on Don Lemon. It is still under seal. It's interesting, though. They're talking about Don Lemon being a part of in a conspiracy, that he met with the other defendants and that they were planning. They met at a shopping center for a pre-op briefing. It gets into quite a bit of detail in here, and it uses a lot of information from Don Lemon's live stream on his YouTube channel from before they got to the church. They say that he was gearing up for a resistance he was with an organization that was gearing up for a resistance operation against
she double
the federal
spoke
government's
there.
immigration policies, and that he took steps to maintain operational secrecy by reminding certain co-conspirators not to disclose the target of the operation. Let's bring in the host of The Beat and MS Now Chief Legal.
Anyway, yes, and we covered it at the time. I know I've argued with the lawyers on it, and we've covered it a lot. He was conspiring with them. He was
absolutely.
He was, you know, like
you know who agrees with you? It was a sitting grand jury, Eric.
Yeah.
That turned out this indictment that she refuses to mention. It's not like the Justice Department is doing this. The grand jury said this.
Yeah, because they had a judge, and the judge flipped it, and so they took it to the grand jury to get it pushed through.
Yep, that's right.
Which they needed to do. Okay, you know what? But before we get into some super chats, we still have another deep state story. Which
it's Deep State Week here on the show, huh?
That's everywhere.
Well, Fauci is leading the thing, so you got a lot of barking dogs.
Well, I mean, we've got another proof of life photo of our favorite senator.
He's back. And this one looks so legit. I can't even tell you. Looks like he's dressed for work, Eric. He's ready to go.
Same photo. They just moved the newspaper.
Oh, you're right.
It looks like, sorry.
You know, it might have been the same photo, the same moment, a couple moments afterwards.
Well, that's what I was saying. I have to check her wardrobe. But
his hair didn't grow. It looks exactly the same. I mean, she looks exactly the same.
It's just insane.
There's no evidence of any medical facility. It's just this generic background. Let me ask something. Can they wheel him in to get him to vote for the Save America Act?
Like this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can they wheel this mutt in there to vote, or can they take it from his bed? Is there any way, or you have to physically be there by law?
I don't know how that would work, but I have to be honest. If he was to vote yes on the Save America Act, I think he probably is dead.
You think they'll kill him for that, or
no? I'm saying that that son of a bitch hates Trump so much.
Oh, I see.
And he's one of the negative votes to screw him over. That if he actually voted in support of something that was with Trump, I would question whether
if he was alive. You're saying, okay,
yeah. But personally, I don't
what
know.
about his
Maybe
aides? His aides may be persuaded or threatened by Trump,
maybe
people to vote this way, and they figure the guy's dead, so I'm not going down with him.
Okay, wait, here we go. This is the other photos. This is July 12th, and I agree, similar photo. Look at his face.
Yeah.
And now look here. It's like you just shifted him slightly.
Yeah. She put on a different blouse and she put a different shirt on him. There's a conspiracy going on here.
But his expression hasn't changed. I mean,
no, it's exactly
pull
the
him out
same.
of the freezer?
The point of the matter is, can he talk? I mean, what is the deal with these photos?
I don't
He's
know.
on the phone with people like that cat from CNN, from
Scott
Kentucky.
Jennings. Why did he shame himself?
I have no idea. There's
heartbreaking.
deep state chicanery involved here, Eric.
It's a Kentucky cartel. I'll call him that.
This Kentucky deep state is so bizarre. And that involves, I have to say, Rand Paul as well.
Yes.
You know, the
Massey.
Governor Beshears, Massey, McConnell. I mean, what the fuck is going on in Kentucky? What do they have? Wild Turkey 101 in the water?
They've got something, man. They have something. It is.
They said they're moving this thing to the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum at the end of the week. So he will be playing himself at the Wax Museum, apparently, according to Variety.
Hey, those freaking wax statues are.
Yeah, no, dude, they're creepy as fuck. They look so real.
You know what's funny is Idris Elba went to the Wax Museum in England or whatever, and he used his wax statue to unlock his phone. He was like, "Oh,
from the
shit.
eyes or something." What do you mean?
Yeah, he was able to hold it up and it unlocked the phone. It was
that's creepy too. That's also creepy.
That is very creepy. But yeah, and his
every time I
was
go
like,
to the
"Holy shit."
pharmacy over here, there's one Chinese lady that has to come in the pharmacy, has to come to approve the purchases by putting her finger on the ID thing. So I said to the guy, why don't you all just chop off her finger and be done with it? And they all just started laughing, because it's a pain in the ass to have to get this one woman to come over and put her finger on the ID thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's arguments about there's got to be enough blood flow or
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
But who knows? Who knows on that? And all right, one more story here, and I'm going to ask, because you're deep into this type of thing, are they looking to go after Gavin Newsom on the sex front with his former aide and mistress who's making the rounds? I think she has a book or whatever. The same way they did Cuomo, where it's like, oh, well, we can't, he can kill a bunch of people by signing legislation. That's not a problem. But if we could get them on sexy stuff, we're going to do that.
I will explain it in 2 sentences. The Cuomo stuff was orchestrated by Kamala Harris to get rid of a presidential threat.
Rival.
And right now it's being orchestrated by Kamala Harris to get rid of a presidential threat rival.
Well, thank you for making me feel smarter today.
Yeah, that's the answer to your question.
Right.
She's doing this. She did it with Cuomo, and she's obviously running now, according to everyone. And he would be obviously the opposition to her in terms of the nomination. Anything with chicks comes from Kamala Harris against her white male counterparts in the party. She was successful with Cuomo, that's for sure. And she is going after him. This is all beneath the surface. Obviously, her fingerprints are not on this, but the fingerprints really are. This is being driven by her internally in the state of California. Remember, she's a former attorney general of the state of California.
Yeah, they
she
have
knows,
history, and they both are out of San Francisco too.
Yeah, dude. And how do you fight back? I mean, if you're Newsom.
Well, the weird part is that, and I don't want to sound like I'm defending the guy because I don't like the guy, obviously, but this whole affair and stuff is actually old news.
Of course, it's old news. It's 30 years old.
Everything you've heard
2006
and read is true.
Yeah, it's over 20. It's 20 years old.
Not that. I've heard someone I care.
So that was his.
The chick has come out and she has made herself available to Vanity Fair. I believe that was orchestrated by Kamala Harris's husband. You got to understand, these people.
Who, by the way, has his own history. It's like, can we look at him?
Right.
Because his involves violence.
Right, but I'm saying he's used to this world. The husband is used to dealing with women in this world. He had to give up for the babysitter who he had an affair with. He got her a job working for Lorne Michaels as an executive at Broadway Video, Lorne Michaels company in New York, as a payoff. So the husband is the guy doing the nuts and bolts here on Newsom. Just my opinion. I don't have any factual evidence of that, of course.
Wow. And by the way, I just saw this story here. It's a Daily Plus exclusive, I guess. Remember we were talking about that U Bull or whatever? Is that how you say his name? U Bull or U Bull?
What is he, a black actor or something? Or
no, the director, the guy who funded his own movie.
Oh, yes, you're right. The director of Citizen Vigilante, yes.
Right, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Armie Hammer is just associating himself. He's turned away and everything. Well, maybe I know why now. Armie Hammer's Hollywood comeback rocked by disturbing new allegations, leaked dirty blank voice notes, texts, and girlfriend's graphic stab wounds photo after a night with the actor. So I wonder if he was being punished being in the movie that Elon Musk just promoted, and he was like, shit, I'm trying to disassociate. And
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's a weird thing.
Well, good luck, because they I mean, they went after him hard before. I mean, there was claims about cannibalism, desires, and just psycho weird stuff. This is a few years back. And then kind of he fell so hard that he was selling timeshares.
Well, it's
for
not
a little bit, and then
it's not a bad job. It's not a bad job. I mean,
Well,
it's funny because he does have the inheritance, and but he won't say how much it is.
Well, and it might be going away with if he needs.
No, I mean it's a trust fund. I mean, again, it might be, maybe it's $10,000 a month or something. Who knows how much it is? It could be $30,000 a month.
It could be, and he could be rich as hell. Like who is it? Juliet Lewis-Dreyfus apparently is a billionaire or damn close. So there are some other actors who have tons of money.
Gilda Radner.
Okay, Gilda Radner. Yeah. There you go. And speaking of money, we can always use some. And unfortunately, people are here to help us out, and we thank you. We got Pamela here from Texas saying Happy Tuesday with $5. So thank you, Pamela. Always nice to see you, and we do appreciate it. Tractor Guy has gifted 10 America's Untold Stories memberships, which is always super helpful. Thank you. Thank you very much. K-Dog. Remember when a Republican president would meet privately with a Democrat House Speaker and they could agree to policies that were good for the country? Yeah, Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan.
I don't remember, but was he talking about Tip O'Neill and Reagan or something?
Tip O'Neill and Reagan did it, but then the reverse. Newt Gingrich and Bill Clinton actually worked together quite a bit quietly.
Yeah,
and did a lot of decent things.
Well, I mean, he's meeting with Johnson all the time, Trump.
Well, but they're in the same party.
Well, what is he supposed to do? I mean, and they're in the same party, but.
Well, and by the way, Johnson actually does his damn
job. Maybe you should meet with Ro Khanna.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, if he was to speak, it would be like meeting with Pelosi,
Yeah.
But to be fair, Mike Johnson has been a shocking superstar amongst Republicans. He actually gets things done, unlike Thune. William Ratcliffe, Trump should buy the DNC headquarters. Note, FC chain the doors and confiscate the contents. Okay.
Okay.
That'll be different. Gen X Craig. MSM should get behind the idea of Trump 2028. Without him around, they're all going to go bankrupt. Yeah, he brought that up too, by the way, that they're going to go broke without him. And there's something to that, because remember, after he was out of office, they all suffered mightily in the finances.
Right.
On Rumble, we got King of Biltong saying, tired of the same old snacks, upgrade to high protein biltong from Biltong USA. Clean ingredients, great flavored grass-fed, air-dried beef. Go to biltongusa.com and use code AUS for 10% off. So thank you very, very, very much. Charlie FLA, yes, AOC has a slight lead for Democrat presidential nomination. Does she have a chance to get the nomination or win outright? I won't rule her out. But
you won't rule her out?
Not initially, because she has people behind her. I know that Kamala's, trying to make her moves, but it depends. There's forces. You're a Democrat or former Democrat.
Yeah, no, I'm still a Democrat. It's 2 years out. So anything this far out in the presidential sweepstakes, it's going to be one of those things where there's 16 Democrats on a stage, people. That's what's going to happen. And they're all going to be.
Would you rule her out?
I, as I said last week, I believe she is the vice presidential candidate for the non-Kamala Harris candidate. Is my opinion. Otherwise, she's going to go take Chuck Schumer's seat in Brooklyn as a United States Senator. So I think there's two things going on at once. She's, putting her feet out there in the sweepstakes for the future, I believe, and temporarily putting her name out there for a possible vice presidency for a white guy who needs a progressive person of color. And the third thing is the name recognition when she runs for the Senate, upsetting Chuck Schumer.
She could definitely do that. The reason why I said I wouldn't rule her out is because people all thought that Obama was running for vice president when he did that speech at the DNC, and then he came and snaked all the way around. So it's like
took a while though.
No, not that long. I mean, he did the speech in 2004 election. He was elected in the next term. So I don't know. Big Bill 767 with $23 said, great show. Thank you, Big Bill. You help make it even better. We do appreciate that. We have George Orwell saying Democrat voters seem to have no input in the selection of their candidates. It seems to be a closed shop.
Yeah, as I've said before, the primary system they created is the closed shop. It's almost like they have two elections, the phony one in November, after they have handpicked the person to run in November through this now more powerful primary system that they control by selecting the person to be in the primary race. And especially true in blue states and blue cities where it's a walk-in in November. For national politics, it's not as easy, but nevertheless, that's why they have the 16-person debates when you see a presidential election.
I do feel like with the Democrats, though, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that it's more like a knife fight behind the scenes.
Yeah,
amongst the power players. Screw the voters. They're just movable pieces on the board. Behind the scenes, and that's why I'm saying I won't rule out AOC because I don't know what kind of powers are behind her in the background. God help us all. But then, what's worse, her or Kamala? I mean, I don't know. That's like
like
Newsom.
Selecting your choices are Newsom. I mean, Buttigieg's never going to win anything, but Newsom, her or Kamala Harris. It's hard to pick. I just don't see her being a vice presidential candidate for Kamala Harris. I do see her being a VP for Gavin Newsom, who needs a leftist woman of color underneath him to guarantee his position in the Democratic Party. She serves no purpose for Kamala Harris.
No, I agree. Oh, by the way, I don't know if this is a dumb question. Does she actually speak Spanish? AOC.
I don't know.
Because that would be a factor.
I think I've heard her speak. I think I've heard her speak Spanish.
Okay. I didn't know for sure. Let me see. Me Parno said, thank you guys for the only sanity on the air.
That's scary.
I know. Are you sure? I won't correct you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we will be going and having, I guess, even more sanity over on Locals, where we have our segment Torn from the Headlines, which people I noticed that they're watching it on YouTube a couple days later.
Wow.
And enjoying it, which is cool. But you could always come over to Locals right now on structure.locals.com, and you could watch it when it comes out, and you don't have to wait, because you never know. It might be a little stale. We might be covering something a couple days old. It just is better. You get to hang out with the peeps there. You have your own private feed, and we're uploading new stuff all the time. I just uploaded our meetup last Saturday, where we talked about different things that were going on. Might want to consider it. Again, unstructured.locals.com. You can become a member there for free. Take a look around, and if you choose, you can support us, which we deeply, deeply appreciate. And that gives you even more ability to where you can post yourself, interact with the chat, a lot more material, multi-part audio dramas, uploaded some movies here and there, hard to find PDFs up there, a lot of different stuff as well. So I hope you consider that. But if you don't, well, Mark and I will be back Friday. I think.
Oh,
Mark
I just want to interject that tomorrow I've got a celebrity crime and rehab at 4:00 Eric's time, and then This Week in Showbiz History, which will be at 6:00. So if you want to tune into those two things, they're
Are you
available
going 2
tomorrow.
hours on the celebrity crime now?
No, it's just a gap so I can eat lunch.
Oh, okay.
No. The shows are not 2 hours. I just don't want to do it that back to back.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Well, I hope to see all of you on Locals, and if not, well, we'll see you on Friday.